Yo, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your boy Kareem Akbar, aka the brother from the bank, in the house. Well, my God, the great debater himself, man. Puerto Rican Prince D Free. What's going on? And of course, I got my man Richie Rich, Mr. AP Watch himself. What's going
Yeah,
on with you, Prize?
what's happening?
So I gotta be very careful because we got some sponsors and they don't like me talking about this guy because he's extremely racist. And again, I want to say I do not support Teofimo Lopez in any way. I want to make sure that's clear. No, I don't support him. I supported him a little bit in the past, but I do not support him at all now. But we only talking about this dirt bag because
Crazy.
we're getting ready to have a big fight on Golden Boy, from what I'm hearing. What do you guys think about, two-time undisputed champ, two-time lineal champion Teofimo Lopez going against former undisputed champion um, Devin the American Dream? What you guys think about that fight?
Um, I think it's a good fight if it goes down. I saw the title and I did a little bit of research, and I
Mm-hmm.
saw Theo was on a live with somebody, I don't know who it was. And they was asking him about the fight with Devin Haney, and
Mm-hmm.
he basically was saying he didn't know nothing about it. He didn't know that they was in negotiation or whatever. But from what
Mm-hmm.
I'm hearing is all the talk is with Golden Boy and Bob Erm. I don't know if they presented the fight to the individuals yet. I know Devin Haney is a part of the negotiation because he has his own promotional company.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but from what I'm hearing is they only talking to Bob. They haven't spoken to Theo. According to Theo, he could have very well just be lying, but according to him, he hasn't heard anything about it. But if the fight does go down, I think it's a good fight. This is a fight that the fans been wanting for a couple years now, so
Mm-hmm.
it definitely needs to go down because both these guys have a lot of history between each other. So we need to see who's the better fighter in the ring.
Absolutely.
Is it
Um,
true that they saying that that's cap now? Like I think T.O. said something about that. It's not true. He's trying to fight Terrence. You saw that?
Tio's a liar. He's been a liar for a long time. So you can believe nothing he says. Like I said, he's a known habitual liar. So you don't have to believe nothing he says. The fact is this, from what I'm hearing, Canelo is going to pay the money back to Bob. Now this is just a rumor. I want to start that off by saying this is a rumor. The rumor is that Canelo's going to pay that money that Tio owes Bob, and then he's going to go right into Canelo Promotions. So as his signature fighter. So if that's the case, I think that's wonderful for boxing. Canelo's pound for pound number one. To be the number one pound for pound guy, and then to have a promotional company with a two-time lineal champion really says a lot about Canelo, and it says a lot about his business acumen. I think it'll be great no matter how it goes. But as far as the fight, like nothing's agreed on. A lot of it is rumor. I'm hearing a lot of rumors, but the
Hmm.
fact is, Tio can't do anything until Bob and Canelo sit down and take care of some business. If we're being totally honest, Canelo
Yeah,
and Bob got to take care of some business before we can really do anything.
100% right. 100% right.
Yeah.
And
Salute
I
to
don't
my
know
man
why
Tommy in the
Canelo's
house.
must
Go
be
ahead.
pound for pound on your list, but he ain't. I don't know nobody that I know list. But carry
Oh
on.
yeah, yeah. But salute to my man Tommy, man. What do you say?
See,
What do you say? I can't read it when it's on the thing.
he said I'm here early just to let you ninjas know to hit that like button and sub to the channel. They both cost you nothing for but a few seconds of your time, fam. Shout out T.
Salute to my man. I look at my brother Green Light
Yeah,
back.
shout out to the homie Green Light, boy.
Welcome
Good to hear
home,
you.
baby boy.
Yeah,
What do
yeah.
you say? Hey, brother Free. When your boy had 30 subscribers, man, people like Prize and Green Light was my first people, man. You know, Green Light the first dude to put me on a T-shirt, pause, in a positive way,
Yeah, in a
in a
positive
positive
way.
way. Um, he said that you put King Tio. No, D Free did that.
Where?
No, I'm
He
joking. I'm
was.
joking.
I'm
I
about to
said
say,
at the time. I'm joking.
uh,
Calm down, Free.
you already know. I don't talk majority of these guys outside of the ring. I only give them their credit and their criticism inside the ring. Whatever outside the ring doesn't bother me not one bit because I don't know none of these guys. I don't concern myself with them outside the ring.
No, it's good. It's good though. All is good. To say the truth, no matter how it goes, I just want to see some good fights. But I'm gonna
Hmm.
ask you this. I'm gonna ask you this, Free and Prize. You know something that really shocked me. Are you guys shocked that Canelo is willing to be generous enough to pay the money back to Bob?
Um,
I
maybe
can-
he sees something in To where he can make some money. I don't think Canelo would do that unless he believes he can make money off of. I don't think anybody would do it unless they know they can
Hmm.
make money off the individual. Because what's the point of paying somebody dues if you have no affiliation with them? So it has to be something in for Canelo in order to do that. The same way Bob did it for Floyd. The same way Bob did it for Bud Crawford. It has to
Hmm.
be something in for the individual in order for them to do that. So Canelo believes that he can make money off of CO. That's the only reason why I would see that he does.
Of course, my man Free wouldn't think without the goodness of his heart, but I feel you, Free. But let me ask you this though, and I want to get your opinion on this. Probably when you hear about a fight like that,
Hmm.
are you a little disappointed? Like I was a little disappointed when we got David Benavidez versus Caleb Plant with no belts. Are you disappointed this is not with both them having a belt?
No,
If the
I'm not
fight
mad.
does happen, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not mad that it's not a unification. Devin is still the champion at 140 in recess, correct? Right.
I don't know much about that. I
I
can't
think
tell
that
you.
he's. I think that Devin is still the WBC champion in recess.
Nah,
Since that fight was a no contest, I don't think that he lost a belt. If they fight at 140, then I'm not mad that at least we got one belt up there. You know, that we got the BC up there. So if it's not unification, I'm okay with that.
no, it's the
Yeah.
it's the WBO that's on the line, and Devin dropped his belt.
So
He
Devin dropped the BC.
yeah, he dropped the belt. He was supposed to be in recess, but then he
Hmm.
dropped the belt to
I'm
go
gonna
to
pull up the WBC
Liam,
rankings real quick.
Pearl. Um, Liam is about to fight. I forgot who he's about to fight. Somebody. He's about to fight. They just showed. Oh, Richardson Hitchens. He's about to fight
Yeah.
Richardson Hitchens for the
Africa,
belt.
yeah, for sure.
Um,
You know,
um,
go
who
ahead.
was the guy that he was supposed to fight? Oh, he was supposed to fight Shandor Martin. He was supposed to
Yeah,
fight.
Sundell Martin, yeah.
He dropped his belt. He dropped his belt because
Okay.
I thought he had an ankle injury.
no, Shandor Martin was the mandatory, and
No,
Devin,
no, I thought Sundell Martin had an ankle injury.
as far as I know, no.
Well, according to boxing, they still have Devin in recess.
Yeah, boxing does, but that's not what the case is.
Yeah, well, I thought this was a WBC. Let me go to their website, World Boxing
Right.
Council.
Um, I ask you guys something that's kind of been lingering out here in boxing. Do you guys think this is just a nitpick for me? But do you think Abdul Wahid needs to win the green strap in order to solidify his legacy? Because
Well,
I've noticed that he's never won the green strap yet.
well, the only way he can win. I mean, he never had the WBO neither, but the only way he can get that is if Shakur gets in the ring with him. If Shakur doesn't get in the ring,
Hmm.
Well, free. According to the WBC, Devin Haney is the champion in recess,
Okay.
and this
Yeah, I
is on
didn't
the
know.
WBC's official website.
as of when
Oh,
was
you
that?
know what? You know what? This is of October 18, so we're gonna discard that.
It's only
Disregard that.
November. I would assume that to be
Oh,
true. It's only November.
oh no, October 18th. We're in November. He like I said, he dropped his belt, and because they made Shandor Martin the mandatory. Devin Haney
Yeah,
the
he's still number one. Jack Catterall's number two. Dalton Smith and Gary Antoine is four,
mandatory.
Yeah,
They
and Josh Taylor is still number five. Jesus.
yeah.
uh,
No,
Shandor
that's not true, Green. Like, Al Heyman's not retired. Al Heyman had an illness and he wasn't himself. He took like pretty much almost most of the year off. I mean, he's 67 years old. He deserves a year off if that's what he wanted to do. But Al Heyman, I know this for a fact, is not retired. I got a very close tie. He's not retired at all. Uncle Al is back to work. He doing his thing. he said, uh, he said, no, the real ones show up and show out. But he said Abdullah better stay away from fighters like Kamel Moulton. That's a fact. I mean,
No,
but I
no,
think
no.
I think Camille Moulton might be a little too small for Abdullah Mason. If they were at the same size, I would say Moulton would probably beat him to death. But they're a little bit too. That's too much of a. I think it's like a. I think Moulton's at 126 and Abdullah's at 120 at 135. So that's what, two weight classes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, he
That's
too.
big. Yeah, Showbiz don't know what he's saying, bro.
Yeah,
I'll hand
Showbiz
in there
says
retire.
everything. He wears
And it,
taco
and
hats.
Showbiz is one of my favorites. We actually all getting taco hats,
He wear
but
glizzy hats.
Yeah.
but no, he's not retired. But I ask you guys this: another fight that I've been hearing about. My favorite fighter in the world, Deontay Wilder, said he coming back. What you guys think about the Bronx Bomber talking about coming back after really getting beat to death
I
in his
hate it.
last two
I
fights?
think it's
What
a,
you
I'll
I
guys
let
think
think?
Free go first. I've got one. I got a few words. I hate it.
I think it's a bad move. I think Deontay Wilder is going to end up being like one of these fighters that we see get badly damaged from not knowing when to step away from the game. Deontay Wilder doesn't have the reflexes. He doesn't have the footwork that he had in his younger years, and nah, it's a bad
And
move.
don't be afraid to say it, Free. Doesn't look like he got the pop no more either. And I'm a huge Wilder fan. I still
I
got my
wouldn't I
Bomb
wouldn't
Squad
say
hoodie.
I wouldn't say he doesn't have the pop anymore. I think he still has the pop. I think
I
the
don't.
problem is he can't set the punches up because he doesn't have his boxing ability is not there anymore. He doesn't have that 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 hunger. He doesn't have that hunger that he had when he was prior to fighting Tyson Fury, prior to fighting Joseph Parker. He doesn't have that same hunger anymore.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna say he doesn't have the pop because
It just seems like he can't crack like he used to, man.
no, I think he's still.
But you got a good point though, where he's like he can't set it up to crack. Like I feel you, like you right about that too, though.
Yeah, because you got to think about it. Deontay Wilder got long arms. If you get
Yeah,
inside his
86-inch reach. Yeah.
that's
yeah,
crazy.
you get inside his arm reach, it's hard for him to throw the punches. That was the thing that was the success that Joseph Parker had. Joseph Parker was able to stay up close on Deontay Wilder and
Mm-hmm.
then get way
And be
out of.
successful.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he would get when he got out of the inside, he would get all the way out of range and made Deontay Wilder have to reach. And once Deontay Wilder reached, he was able to get back on the inside. So
He got money though, Creo. I
yeah,
mean, I feel
he
you,
got
but he
money.
got that. He been getting that, and
They got
he's.
big
I
bags
heard
for
that too,
Deontay.
Green. Like I heard him say he had injuries. I heard that. I don't know how true that is, but he said his arm was broke. But only he knows.
Yeah, that's
No,
cap.
his arm was messed up. I saw when he was at the meet and greet for the LBBC.
He was in
Uh,
a sling.
yeah, his arm was in a sling. His
Oh,
arm
you talking about? Ain't that when Tommy was crying?
I don't know about
Yeah, I
Tommy.
remember
Uh-uh.
that. That's
I
when
don't
I don't
know.
know
Puerto
about
Rican
Tommy
Tommy,
Prime, but
Puerto Rican Tommy, you start crying when he seen Wilder.
I don't know. I don't know about all that, but yeah, that that's the meet and greet that I'm referring to when they
I
was
did
all
see
down
that.
in Atlanta. His arm was in a
Hmm.
sling, so I don't know if it was broke, but I do know it was in a sling.
Yeah,
I did see that sling, but I didn't put two and two together. Like I didn't put that audio and then that sling. I didn't put it together. But now that you said that and refresh my memory, I did see that video where he was greeting people in the sling. I was like, damn, what happened to his arm?
Yeah,
yeah. I'll tell you something funny, man. People. One of the biggest,
He got that Creo. He got generational wealth. My bad, nigga.
one of the things I'll tell you, one of the biggest lies you've been told is that generational wealth matters, and I'm gonna tell you why it doesn't. It only takes one person to make bad decisions to lose everything. So when you say that, we got to be honest and say you hoping to have generational. You hoping that your kids will do right, your grandchildren will do right, but that's not always the case. I'm gonna tell you a real stat: 85% of people of color, that's Spanish, that's Black, that's whoever you want to, Asian. We 85% of us do not leave the next generation any money, and that's a fact. So
um,
all that a lot. No, this is from the Wall Street Journal. Everything I'm telling you is from the Wall Street Journal. I just say that don't get caught up in what someone's making. It's about how much money you keep, not about how much money you make. Now, if you like Larry Holmes, got a building, you 70 something years old, chilling. You like George Foreman, you got 15 cars, you sell your cars for your kids. That's different. That's different. But It ain't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. But go ahead, Fred.
No, I was gonna say when we talk about generational wealth, it
Mhm.
depends on what generation you're talking about. Are you talking about the generation, my generation? Because I can be wealthy for my generation, and it doesn't mean that it's gonna be wealthy for my kids' generation. Because we got to remember the cost of living goes up every year. So
Mhm.
I can be wealthy in my generation. Doesn't mean
Right.
my grandkids and their kids are going to be wealthy in their generation. So
Mhm.
it all depends on which generation you're talking about because they could say I got a generational wealth for my generation. I don't know what they're going to do with the money after I'm gone. I don't know what they're going to do with it. But for my generation, I'm wealthy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Let me.
well, like what see, here's the thing. I got to make sure that when I'm not here, that I know, well, I won't know, but at least let's say if I get old, 80, 90 years old, and I know I'm on my way out, I can look back and be like, okay, my daughters and my sons got this, and that. You know what I'm saying? So generational wealth, it's important to a certain extent. Because like Free said, because my question to people is, what is generational wealth? Because you can have somebody that's living in the hood right now, you get them $250,000. That's you get that's life changing. I don't care
Mhm.
what nobody say. You know what I mean? And people say generational wealth. People make it seem like you got to have $100 million. That's not true. Like you can have a couple hundred grand and flip. You know what I'm saying? Set up, have businesses, have different like things set up so the money can just it's gonna keep rolling in because you have to teach your children the do's and don'ts. Yes, they're going to make mistakes. Yes, they're going to blow money. I did it, but at the end of the day, I've learned, and I'm learning to teach my son. And when my daughters get older, to teach them about finances and wealth and how to be able to just live off your credit cards. You don't have to have any cash in your bank, but when you get, well, you have to have cash in your bank. But I'm saying when you get that, when it's time to pay them American Express bills, I don't care if it's 2 grand, you got it, you pay the whole bill off. And that's what I teach and preach to them. And don't be so quick to use your credit when you're 17, 18, not 17, but like 20, 22. Use it, but don't go all crazy with it. Wait till you get a little bit older, a little bit established. Have it and have it decent. But when you get older, it's gonna really count because you don't want to have good credit in your 20s and bad credits in your 40s. See what I'm saying?
You know what I will say. I, I'm gonna be totally honest. I feel what Prize is saying. Definitely feel what Free is saying. For me, I'm gonna just be honest with you. I'm King David, and I know it. You say why you say you King David? It's not gonna be meant for me to do some of the things that my daughter do. It's just not. It's just not. My goal for me, I can't speak for nobody else, is that I am going to be the bedrock that pushes my family to that next level. Because we doing first generation stuff. First person to do a lot of things. Own a home. Um, do just different things like that. And I think sometimes we got to understand everybody's not King Solomon. I'm David. And if you know anything about the Bible, I'm not trying to get you much Bible on it, but at the end of the day, David wanted to build God's house. He said, "No, I want a man of peace to build my house." So all you can do is work hard, and hopefully the children do right by it. Because
Hmm.
for guys like me, a lot of guys that come from where I came from, when we make it to, from poor to middle class or upper middle class, and some even make it to rich, it's a huge jump. Um, so much so where people think you got more than you have just because you're doing decent. But for
Right.
me, I feel like I'm Joseph Kennedy, and you say, why would you say you Joseph Kennedy? Because Joseph did what he did, and guess what? One generation later, his son became attorney general. His
Mm.
other son became president. So it's not always about you, and that's the problem with our generation and our thought process of thinking everything's about you. It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Shout out to my aunt Talitha Templeton, man. My aunt was from Wynn, Arkansas. She came up here to the city. She came up here with her mom and her 11 younger brothers and sisters. And anybody who knows about the oldest does a lot. And she gave up a lot of her life to her mother and her younger siblings to have a great life. So was her life always as enjoyable? No, it wasn't. But you know what? I thank God for mine too, because me now at 34 years old, I'm getting to live a life that she only dreamed about. And that's because of her sacrifices. That's because of different things different people did. My Uncle Herman. My grandmother, my grandfather, they did some things to make it for us. So just always when you say generational wealth, just understand whatever you can do to help the next generation because we only got 90 years, bro. And you learn how to live after 70. So after you learn how to live, you're 70 years old, you only got 20 left to enjoy yourself. So never get caught up into the BS. Never misunderstand that it's very important to think about the future. And if you don't have a certain amount of money at this point, like I'm 34, I know what I got to do is get some money together so my daughters can do well and have a great lives. That's what it's all about. And
Yeah.
never forget that. But go ahead, Free. And
No,
Prize, my
I
bad.
mean
Nah, he
the
was on fire, dog.
the best thing that you can give the next generation is the knowledge.
Mm-hmm,
That's the best thing because without the knowledge, you can give them all the money in the world. Without
mm-hmm,
the knowledge, that money doesn't mean anything
Hmm.
because
for sure.
they can waste all of that money within a
Yep.
day without the right knowledge. So
Mm-hmm,
you can give them money, but the thing that you want to give them is the knowledge and the example. That's
mm-hmm,
what you want to give because that's going to live with them for the rest of their life. The knowledge and the example that you set for them. Because, like I said, I know people right now, their parents didn't leave them a dime, but they left them
right.
the knowledge of how to be able to make money on their own. And if you show them how to be able to make money on their own,
Mm-hmm,
that's going to carry further along than any money you leave them. Because, like I said, you can make a bad investment that you can gave them left them $10 million. They make a bad investment. That $10 is gone tomorrow. But the knowledge that you
mm-hmm,
to show them how to make that $10 million back, that's what they're
mm-hmm.
going to be able to know how to make that money back when they lose it.
And that's
Yeah.
the most important thing to show them when you get the stuff. It's not about what I got coming to me when I get older or when I know what I already have coming to me. So I'm not thinking about that. I know that I'll have property that's over $1 million. I know all these things already, but that's not important. What I'm trying to do is school the kids, my two daughters, well, my one daughter's too little, but my bigger daughter and my son, like you guys, I'm trying. Like what Free just said, it. We don't even got to talk about it no more. I can get them $100 million. They can go and blow that on one bad deal. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give them like I'm telling you, the do's and don'ts and how to create money in different ways without getting yourself in trouble too, and stuff like that. That's more important than actual fundings. Because you got some spoiled brats that their grandfather or their father left them $2 million and they'll go snort it away. You know what I'm saying? And next thing you know, they won't even make it. You know what I'm saying? So it's different things. It's the knowledge that's more important than the money. I ain't saying the money ain't important because it is. Trust me. I'm set up and so will my kids be set up because I'm not going to blow it for my kids because I'm already had a lot of fun and all of that. So I know for a fact that I got to teach them how to keep it going. So when they get older and my son get 30 and my daughters get older, they can say, all right, well, dad had this and that and dad showed it. Wow. And you good.
You know,
Knowledge.
one of the and y'all might laugh at me for saying this, but there was a show I watched. It's an old play. We've seen a bunch of people do their rendition of it, but a Raised in the Sun, there's a part where the guy blows all the money that his father made. And I remember when I seen it, the first time I seen it was actually on BET. I didn't see the, old school one. I seen the one on BET with Felicia Rashad and Sean Combs. And I remember her screaming in agony because she knew that her man put the work in. And I think a lot of times us as men got to understand one very pivotal thing. Dog, unfortunately, we don't have the most glamorous lives all the time. You might get to have some fun sometime, but you really gonna be putting it in for your family if you a man. Now, if you a hoe, that's a different thing. But if you a man, you gonna put it in for your family. You're gonna do what you got to do for your family. And
Bars.
one of the things I'm working on is not overvaluing stupid stuff. What we can do a lot of times is put so much emphasis on money that we forget to spend the time, that we forget to do this. I did something the other day. I was practicing rhyming with my daughter. And that might sound kind of funny, but I just felt so much better doing that than me just spending all my time worrying about money and worrying about this and worrying about YouTube, worrying about that. And I think it's very important, no matter who you are, to really have your priorities together and keep your faith in God. Because you know what? To be a real man is not a glamorous life. Strong men make for great times. Weak men make for hard times. If you want to have them easy times like they did, like think about, one of my favorite times in history to read about is the 50s. You say, why you say that? Why you say that, BVO or Kareem Akbar? Because if you think about all those people from the Great Depression, the 30s and 40s, who put it all on the line for their children, when the 50s came, they were adults and they spoiled those baby boomers rotten. Am I wrong, Free? They spoiled them rotten. They spoiled them rotten. And what you have now, you got a lot of baby boomers who spoiled Generation X rotten. Then you had us come, the millennials came, and we got spoiled. And then we got the ones under us. We trying to spoil them. And I think what happens is we have lost the true bedrock of what it is to be a man or woman in this society. We don't really have, teaching seminars to say how can I be a better man. Like we call each other brother, we call each other queen, king. But what the hell does that mean if we don't know how to respect each other? Now, one thing I'll notice, and this is just me, if you and anybody black can or black or Spanish can attest to this, somebody your own race will walk right past you and not say hello compared to your counterpart. So for me, I think it's very important to have your priorities together, man. Put your family first because no matter what, man, you can get the money back, but you can't get your family back. Even if you start over, ain't nothing like when you make it work with that first one. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing like it when you look back and say, you know what, me and her, or we did our thing and made it happen. But I didn't mean to get so off of that. But those are things that I'm passionate about. Having great, healthy families is important to me. Looking at different sides is important to me because I'll be honest with you guys. I'm gonna just share something with you. I had it to where at one time my mind was in bondage, and it's not anymore. So I feel free, and I understand what's important because you can really walk around this life in a trance. Everything is pretty much on wash, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. If you think about it, you get up and work every day. You do everything you're gonna do every day. That's cool. But at the end of the day, the most important thing you can do is put something up for the next generation. Hey, if you don't do nothing but buy somebody a sandwich, we can at least leave the world and say, hey, I left them a sandwich. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
what you got on it, Free?
No, I
Salute to
mean,
Bentley.
I agree with everything you said. You just gotta, we gotta teach our children how to be productive adults. A lot of times we so quick to show kids how to make it on their own, but we don't show them how to be productive. We give
Mm-hmm.
them knowledge of how to cook, how to clean up, and how to put your clothes on, tie your shoes, but we don't show them how to be productive. We don't take the time to show them how to be productive. Um, we watch them go to school and they get good grades. We congratulate them and stuff like that. But how often do you sit down and teach them how to be productive? Because you can teach them what they need to know to make it in school and what they need to know to to make it throughout the day, far as taking care of themselves. But how
Mm-hmm.
often do you sit down and show them how to be productive? If you're not showing them how to be productive, what are you really teaching them? Because anybody could teach them how to put their clothes on. Anybody could teach them how to get good grades. But if you're not teaching them how to be productive, what are you really doing?
And when you say productive, what do you mean by that, Free?
When I say productive, I mean being able to manage a quote unquote checkbook, be able
Uh-huh.
to, well, I should say finances, be able to manage their finances, be able to sustain a good paying job, be able to take care of their household, be able to know how to raise their own kids when it's time for them to have kids. That's what I mean by productive. Not so much of just being able to take care of themselves, because like I said,
Mm-hmm.
anybody can show a person how to take care of themselves, but you want them to be productive. Productive is something giving back to what they already created. Is giving back to what they already created. So they got to know how to be able, quote unquote, survive in society. if you're not showing them how to be productive and survive in society, you're not really teaching them anything. Not really teaching them
Hmm.
anything. You're leaving the teachers in school to teach them everything. And look how often the kids are in school. They're in school what 9, 10 hours out of the day, and then they come home. Most of the time, you sit them down to do their homework. You feed them dinner, and then it's pretty much time for them to go to bed. And they got wake up, do the same thing all over again. So you gotta find that time in between, or if it's just on the weekends because it's a hectic week. If it's just on the weekends, you gotta have that time where you sit those kids down and show them how to be productive.
And you know something that you touched on. And I salute to my man Crush, man. Um, I think one thing I'm working on, and I gotta learn how to do, is to use nice words. Say nice things, because you know what be happening sometimes. The world is so rough, you become rough. You know, I remember I used to hear this old saying, it's an old football saying that, boiling water, makes a potato soft but makes an egg hard. What's the difference? It's really how you react to the environment. And I think a lot of us grow up in these horrible, horrible environments and we don't realize how negative it really is and how destructive it really is. Now, one thing, people accuse Kareem Akbar of picking with people, but that's just how I grew up. I grew up with people picking with people. I never forget, and it's a funny story. I was going to school. You know how you go to school. Most of us got a grandparent who gonna read us a scripture before we go. I don't know if you ever had to do that. Maybe I'm old school, but we would read a scripture before we go. And I remember some dudes ran up on us and they hit us all in the stomach and threw us in the snow. And I was so mad free because I had my mind made up. I had read my little word. I was ready. And I'm telling you, man, too many times, man, I feel like when it comes to us in the inner city, we abuse each other and throw each other off our system, man. And that's just something that we really got to work on. But what you got on this, Prize? I mean, we know you grew up rich. So what was it like to grow up rich, Prize?
I mean, it's excellent. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Well, I mean, what do you want me to say about it? It's fantastic for me, you know. But I ain't. I, my kids don't live like how I wouldn't say that. No, I take that back. I take that back because my son has cars. He has his own apartment. He got stuff at a young age. He's 21. I didn't even have that at 21. But you know, I mean, as a kid growing up, I had everything I wanted. Always had
Mm-hmm.
nice houses. Always lived in nice. If my mom didn't, if we didn't have before she bought a house, we lived in nice apartments. My dad was a military man, so we would live on base, and we would have. Once that stopped, we they took the money and did other things. Then we got our house. That was nice. I always had nice clothes, always nice shoes, always the best toys, always the new Nintendos, and that's what I was able to do that for my kids. That's the giving back part. Like
Mm-hmm.
the my kids' Christmases was lit. You know what I mean? So, cause my Jones was lit. I can remember them Jones. Like I could wake up. Like we could talk about this. Like I can remember when I came in there with them when that wrestling ring, when I had a WWF wrestling ring with all them men in there, my dad had set them Jones up. That was tough. You know what I mean? I woke up, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
what? I got the ring, the belts, and everything on one whop. You know what I mean? And a Nintendo, and this, and a scooter, and a bike. You know what I'm saying? I come outside, the other kids come outside, we all have our stuff. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
but and it was good. I didn't like it was good being able to make sure my daughter does that, make sure my son when he was little that I could coach basketball now. I could do different things. I was maturing and I could give him all the toys and all the when them little scooters came out. What's them little things called, them little Segway
The
scooter
Rangers.
thing?
So when I was young, they had the
I
Razor
mean,
scooters. You remember
yeah,
those,
yeah,
Tree?
yeah. No, I'm talking about the electric ones where you don't hold on to nothing. You just
Oh,
go.
okay.
The one Mike Tyson fell off of. When them
Yeah.
first came out, like my son had
Hoverboard.
one. Them Jones was like
Hoverboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hoverboard.
hover.
Like
hoverboard.
my son had a hoverboard. He was the only kid in the neighborhood with that joint. You know what I'm saying? So like it's good. So you gotta just like I said, give back to your kids and teach them. You know, now they get older and understand all them toys don't come like that. That you was just a baby and Santa Claus was coming over. If you teach your kids about Santa Claus, I did because my kids was being bad. But I'm just saying, You know what I mean? They would be good, but now as they older, now that my son is older, I can talk to him like a man now, and he can remember how good his childhood was, like mine was. So it feels great. Depends how you be. Depends how you are too.
Look at my man Creole the Traveler, man. Let's bring my man Crush in on this, man. So when you talk about growing up, what was it like for you growing up, man? Especially in North Philly, what was that like?
I'm from South Philly, correction. Don't get that
Oh,
twisted.
my
I'm from
bad,
the
my
city.
bad, South Philly.
You,
My bad.
you do that. You do that again, Kareem
I
Akbar.
think
You
you
ain't
be
gonna be the
doing that
brother
be
from
on
the bank.
purpose.
No,
Yeah, I
no,
think
I
you be
really,
doing
You,
no,
that
no, I
on
really
purpose,
not you.
Crush.
You know what?
Because
One
South
thing.
Philly
you
people
ain't
don't
gonna be
like
the
to
brother.
say they don't like for you to say they from North Philly as well. Pardon me, as in North Philly or Southwest. Don't tell them they from South or North and they from Southwest. They tell you, man, I'm from Southwest. What you mean? You know what
You
I
know what
mean?
it
The
is.
same
I'm
thing.
gonna tell you this. If you're not from Philadelphia, most of us grew up with a guy named Bill Cosby. Some call him Bill Cosby, but we all watched Bill
Oh,
Cosby, and he
goodness
always talked
gracious.
about. And Bill always talked about North Philly. So when I think of Philadelphia, I think about the North Side, the little Charlie trains and stuff like that. So, or the junkyard. So forgive me. That's no slight to you. That's just me as a kid. When I think about Philadelphia, first thing I'm gonna think about is North Philly, where Bill Cosby came. My favorite came from. Little Bill, the Cosby Show,
Well,
a different world. Go ahead.
North Philly's not the entire Philadelphia. Okay. All right. But anyway, for me coming up, I came up pretty good. I mean, it was rough at first because I lost my mother at 7 years old. So it
Oh,
was
sorry
kind
to hear
of
that.
rough because yeah, missing her for a lot of years until I actually got used to it. But my grandmother took great care of me and my sister, so we never missed a holiday. Came up, didn't want for anything, you know, just like pride, basically whatever I wanted, I got. You know what I mean? So it was pretty cool. Um, the awkward thing was growing up, you got cousins to play with. I couldn't play with any of my cousins because they was too freaking young for me. You see what I'm saying? And then the
Hmm.
cousins that was within my age region, they was either years older than me. You see what I'm saying? So, but it was cool. I had a lot of friends, but growing up in a household, my grandmother, my aunts, and my uncle, it was pretty cool, man. Learned a
Yeah.
lot of things. They let me be me. That's one thing about this family. They let you be you. They might not agree with everything, that you may get into or you believe or whatever, but
Hmm.
they let you be you. I mean, and that was the most important thing to me. So that's why that made everything more of a happier feeling growing up without feeling uncomfortable because I was able to be whoever the hell I was at the time. You know what I mean? Or whoever I wanted to be. The only rule was, hey, you go out there, you play around them streets, and you get your ass locked up, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. That's what grandmom said. But
Yeah.
she didn't really have to worry about that. You see what I'm saying? Because I wasn't the type of kid that got a lot of beatings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's pretty much cool. I got a beating. I got about 3 beatings. You know what I mean? But other than that, now if I would have got caught with the stuff I was getting away with, then we might be having a different conversation somewhat. But I learned from them. Don't whatever you doing wrong that can get your back broke. Don't let me find out. And that's how
Let
I
me
was. But it was pretty cool, man. Had all the toys, dressed nice, everything. Yeah, I was good, man. Everything was good.
salute to my man Billy. He said, grew up with 6 siblings, poor, but we had a great childhood. Now we all live in west of the train tracks. My man, Big Dog Willie said, Bill Haney said he was 6 years old when he outboxed the young Sugar Ray Leonard. Pure facts. But I'm gonna ask everybody this real quick, and I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start with my man Free. What was your favorite memory of your grandmother, man?
You said my favorite memory of my grandmother.
Yeah.
Uh, which one are you talking about? My actual grandmother or my great grandmother? Because I lived.
No,
I have
your
I have both of them.
your great grandmother. Your great grandmother.
My great grandmother, because at the time that I was around when I was born, she had my grandfather passed away. My great grandfather passed away shortly after. So at the time that
Your mic's going out, free.
uh,
Yeah, your mic went all the way out. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Okay, um, at the time that I met my great grandma, I was old enough to know who she was. My great grandfather had already passed away, so she had sold her house, and she was living from family to family. Each week, she would spend time with one of her kids or grandkids. So the time that I remember my great grandmother, she would come to our house for the week, and I remember sitting in front of TV. She would. That's the first time I ever seen The Incredible Hulk. She used to watch that. She used to watch the Million Dollar Man. She used to watch her. I never stayed around for the soap operas. I was outside playing, and the most famous thing I remember her, she will always go in the kitchen, make a pot of black eyed peas and pig feet, and she would make quilts. She would literally crochet quilts together. So by the time she left that week, each one of the people in that house, whether it was my house or somebody else's house, each person in that house had their own quilt that great grandma left us, and we kept that quote for years. Like she would make. I remember I had probably maybe about 3 or 4 quotes that she had made for me, and I kept those quotes until I was probably about 18 years old. Those are the fondest memories I have of my great grandmother.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let Prize and my man Crush the Legend go. I think my favorite memory of my grandma was, I can't say we was poor. We didn't have a lot of stuff, but I always was dressing nice. I mean, sometimes my mom would spend the money on buying me some gym shoes, and my fridge would be on E. 'Cause I used to always had a joke where you can comb your hair in the back of my fridge, and I remember, man, I would go to my grandma's house. She used to live up on this hill, and she didn't have like bacon or nothing, so she would cut hot dogs, and she would make hot dogs, eggs, potatoes, and toast. And as crazy as that sound, you know, it's wild, man. I used to really cherish that, and just hearing my grandma, because my grandma had such a funny personality, man. When she was just very joyous, like you see, BVO has a lot of joy. I get that from my grandmother, man, because my grandmother had a lot of joy, and I got a lot of joy. And I think my favorite memory, one time I got kicked out of the church youth service because I was fighting. So, dude, we back then we would throw dice, and dude touch the dice. Now, if you play any dice, you don't touch no dice. You don't touch no dice. So I had to take my ACG
Right.
boot and put it on top of his head to let him know, hey, you don't ever touch the dice. So they threw me out the church thing. And I walked to my grandmother's house, and my grandma made me a good meal. We talked. And then the part that was so funny is right after all that good eating, I'm laying down. She come with the belt, whoop your boy for getting thrown out the church. And my grandma said, "You got me up here cooking for you, making let you have a good time." Because back then they used to have a show called Arthur. I'm watching Arthur. Hey, on about to come on in a little bit, and my grandma come with the belt, man. So,
with the
but shout
beat
out,
food.
but shout out to my man Gregory Pratt, West Side Zone, Dunbar High School. But go ahead. What was your favorite member of your grandmother, Prize?
Well, I still got my grandmother here, so I talked to her the
That's a
other day.
blessing.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I mean, the best, and this is a real story, and she loved when I tell it because I could always tell it because like it's so clear. Like the best time with my grandmom is because my grandmom not the tallest, and she got real long. She had real long, pretty, still do long, pretty hair,
Hmm.
and something we was somewhere and this lady was being disrespectful or whatever, this other black lady, and I could remember she was a nice looking woman too. I was like, well, she's a nice looking I was little though, I was 3 or 4, my grandma tell me, and the lady and my grandma told the lady to shut up, and the lady said, you shut up, and then my grandma slapped her, bow, And my grandma said, "You can
Wow.
call the cop." I swear to God, I cannot make this up. My grandma slaps the lady. Boom! The lady grabbed her face like, "Oh!" She puts her right hand up on her face like, and she's like screaming like, "Oh!" And my grandma saying, "You can call the cops." And that lady said, "I am the cops." Come to find out, a lady was a police officer. My grandma went upside her head. She said, "Come on." She grabbed me by my hand, put me in the car, and we drove off. That was my best memory of my grandma slapping that lady. And ever since then, and I didn't see my grandma put hands on a couple ladies after that, and even in her old age. And I always, for whatever reason, wild reason, because I used to like wrestling and boxing and stuff, still do like boxing, but that was my best memory of my grandma when she fired that lady up for being disrespectful, especially in front of her grandson. And she slapped that lady so hard. That lady, she told that lady, "You could call the cops." Man, that lady said she was the cops, put on her badge. My grandma just grabbed me by my hand, turned around, and walked away. We got in the car and left. That's a true story. That was my best memory because my grandma, she was tough. She wasn't the biggest, but everybody knew on the block Chico wife was just as tough as he was. That's why I like my grandma. Yeah.
Go ahead, Crush. I don't know where he went to baby his kids, Lynn. Why you let him do that, Free? He took us to baby kids, Lynn.
I mean, that's what it was, man. My grandma fired, she slapped fire out that woman, bro. I mean, it was a black woman, another
Wow.
black woman. It was a cop. That was in the 80s. She went upside her head. It wasn't all them cameras and telling and police reports. So I don't know what had happened, but whatever had happened, that lady told no, she told this is what you can't tell my grandma to kiss you know what I'm saying, kiss my, you know what I'm saying. She told my grandma told her to shut up. She said, "Kiss my grandma went right upside her head. Right upside her head. Oh
Yeah.
yes.
I'm
Oh
fortunate
yes.
Go
enough to
ahead.
still have my mother's mother around still. I think she's
Hmm.
87. Yeah, she's 87. And she's still around.
Hmm.
But well, my mother's mother, she was the pastor of my church. So the only thing that I remember from her as a young kid, she was my daycare provider as well. So I would go there for
Hmm.
daycare when I got out of school. But my great grandmother was the one that really disciplined all of the grandkids and great grandkids. I remember the first time she disciplined me and she told me go outside and get a switch. I was like, man, I'm not getting no switch for you to beat me. And she was like, oh, you're not gonna go get it? Okay. She went outside and got a switch off my grandmother's, her daughter, um, a rose bush. And anybody that knows roses got thorns on them. So she got thorns on. She like, you know what? You got a smart mouth. I'm not even gonna take all these thorns off. And I ran around that house for about a minute. And I'm not gonna change it because I know I'm gonna see you again. I'm not gonna change. You beat me with that thorn. I stayed outside until my mother came home. I was like, man, mom, grandma trying to beat me with that switch, and it got thorns on it. My mother was like, grandma, take the thorns off. She was like, nah, he didn't want to go get the switch, so I got the switch myself. She was like, grandma, take the thorns off. You can beat him, but take the thorns off.
No, so, and
Like,
one of the funniest things I ever seen happen was shout out to my cousin, man. I always tell a lot of funny stories about him, man. Shout out to my cousin B Hart. Uh, and I want to get crushed after this. I remember we used to have a little sucking thing. Being G Generation Next would have sucking. So we be in school, we tell the girls to suck it. We tell everybody to suck it. This is before like
Oh,
pause.
wow.
And I remember my grandma said something my cousin didn't like. And he told my grandma to suck it. And first thing she said in the funniest voice ever, I never heard her speaking that voice again. Show me, like a zombie just came up, show me, show me. And then next thing you know, gave him an uppercut right to the nuts. And if y'all could have seen that live, man, oh, that was so funny because like, who tells their aunt to suck it? Who does that? But that idiot did. So no matter how it go, man, it's just fun thinking about those times. But go ahead, Crush. I want one of your funniest memories of your grandma, man. Go ahead, Crush.
Oh man, she's still around too. Bless her. She's 90 years old.
Well, that's a
Uh,
blessing.
one of my favorite moments, man. She's a big boxing fan. Grandma watched boxing.
Hmm.
And her two favorite fighters were Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard. You say anything wrong about Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard, you might get Ali or Sugar Ray Leonard by grandma. So she, Sugar Ray Leonard was fighting Tommy Hearns first
Mm-hmm.
fight, and remember, some of the earlier rounds, Tommy Hearns is beating Sugar Ray very well. So when
Mm-hmm.
Tommy messed Sugar Ray eye up the first time, when it starts swelling up and it looked like
Mm-hmm.
Sugar's about to go down, she said, "Oh my goodness." She said, "Now I like chocolate men, but this long chocolate motherfucker beating up on my damn baby. Come on, Caramel, because if you don't come back and beat his ass, I'm beating everybody ass in this house." Sugar Ray came back more and got that fucking win. She said, y'all know y'all just got to see the ass whipping, right?" She's a big Sugar Ray Leonard fan. And another time, we was at we went on a family trip, like a crab. We went on like a crab trip, and out to More, we had a crab fest. We was like 2 buses deep. So at this time, grandma was probably like maybe roughly 80, maybe about 77, 78 years old. So the DJ playing music and everything, and Drop Down, Get Your Ego On comes on by Nelly. And when I
Mhm.
tell y'all, she dropped down and got her damn ego on, I said, "Oh hell no!" I had to go get her ass up off the fucking floor. You can't be doing that. She said, "I can still work my damn back." And this guy at the time, he was like the age I am now, 55. So he cut up with her and all that. She had fun. She was like, lucky the whole family came and I was about to bring him home with me. Y'all would have been mad. It's like, man, get on out of here, lady. But she's a real cool person, man. Real funny person, you
Yeah.
know.
Hey, you know the funny thing, man. I learned like I that what I just did was just to give you an example of no matter how good granddaddy is, man, ain't nothing like mama and grandmama did. Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like it. And I was thinking about something that somebody was saying. Well, how many people know their great grandfather? How many people know him? Like my great grandfather don't get enough credit. He left Wynn, Arkansas to come to Cleveland. And if anybody know about Wynn, Arkansas, that was the home of the lynching. They was doing what they
Right.
call picnics. They would go pick black people. Like, don't ever go out with your family and call it picnic. Don't ever do that. They would go out and pick people and lynch them. And he ended up losing a couple of brothers to lynchings. So,
Mm.
shout out to a guy named Bishop Ashford. These people are all long gone, but Bishop Ashford was real light skinned. He could almost pass for white. And he brought like 5, 6 families from Arkansas up to Cleveland on my mom's side. And the thing I learned is, man, to be a man or a woman back in those days, I ain't even worried about what's coming on because they used to burn people's houses, man. Do all that, man. They ain't doing that stuff now, thank God. But telling you, man, it's not as bad as it was for them. It's just not. And if you ever think about them old people, they don't be complaining about nothing. Nothing. I don't even. I remember
Yeah.
one time my grandma had surgery on her foot, and she used to like cater, so she would cook for people and stuff like that. And she running around like she FloJo. I don't know if any of y'all know who FloJo is. She used to be a famous runner back in the
Oh
day.
yeah, yeah.
And
Flow, yeah.
my grandma get done. I say, I thought you just had surgery. Well, I gotta take what she said. I got people to feed. But she took such pride. Those people and those older people we talk about took such pride in doing a great job. And I think, the reason we talked about this, we started out with Devin Haney and Teal. I don't support Teal at all, so I really ain't got nothing to say about the coward. So,
Oh hell with that
um,
nut.
I'll be honest, I just put that up there so we can have some good conversation. But I'll put it like this, man. I wouldn't be upset if I heard that T.O. passed away, man. I really don't think it's okay for people to continuously be racist and think they're gonna get my dollars. So whether he fights Devin the American Dream or not, we won't be covering it. So forgive me, free prize, crush early. I'm not supporting racists anymore at all. I'm not doing that. Whether it's Ryan, whether it's Tio, if they're fighting, it's a no go. It's a no fly zone. They can kiss my behind. They can go. Anybody else can cover him, but we not covering no doggone racist. I'm gonna just be honest with y'all. But on a good note, what you guys think about the Browns but to get Shador Sanders?
Say that again.
I hope he don't go there. I hope to God he don't go there.
What's that? Say that again, BBO.
The
Uh,
Browns are talking about, benching a lot of players going forward so we can go get Shador Sanders.
What?
That's
Oh
what they were
hell no.
announcing.
Dion ain't gonna let that happen.
He ain't got no choice.
No.
What are you
NFL ain't
gonna
gonna
do?
let that happen.
His name ain't Archie Manning. What are you gonna do?
We'll see.
He gonna shut up?
He gonna do like Eli did,
Like I said, his name ain't Archie Manning.
man.
What do you think
His
about?
name his name is Shador Sanders.
What do you
He's
think
the
about
son of the
Shador
best
Sanders playing in
quarterback in
Cleveland?
the
Free?
history of the sport. What are you talking about?
What do you think about a guy like Shador Sanders playing in Cleveland?
I hate it.
You hear me, Free?
Y'all
I,
football team is horrible.
I hear you. I'm
Oh, your mic is off. Okay.
no, I'm trying to think. Um, hey, prayers go out to that man if he go to Cleveland.
Right.
Oh, but when y'all get Jalen Daniels, okay. Oh, here you go.
No,
See,
I'm not even. It's not even about Jaden Daniels. I'm just looking at the history of Cleveland. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
their quarterbacks have it hard out there. They have it hard out there. Um, I don't. The only successful quarterback is what's the guy named Kozart? He was the he was our most successful quarterback.
Testaverde was all right.
no,
It
Otto
was
Graham was our
garbage.
most successful
They
quarterback. Otto
tested
Graham won
with
4 NFL championships.
You said what?
Man,
I said Otto Graham was our greatest quarterback. He won 4 NFL championships.
that man reached back into when
That
the beginning of
man
time.
went back. He went back over 70 years. He
He also
that,
played with a brother named Jim Brown.
that's the that's the earliest you could go. It's 70 years ago.
Wait, they had Jeff Garcia at one point, didn't y'all?
I was talking about Super Bowl era. No, you see,
No, Jeff Garcia.
I'm looking at
He's
you
Super
looking
Bowl era.
at quarterbacks. You're looking at quarterbacks that had success once they left Cleveland. I'm talking about actually that was in Cleveland. The most successful quarterback is Kozar.
Yeah, and or arguably Vinny Testaverde. We have to see
Vinny's best years was outside of Cleveland when he was
where
with the Jets and Dallas. Those was his best years.
Yeah.
he wasn't bad at
Jeff
Cleveland. It was
Jordan's best
Cleveland was
years.
bad.
Jeff Jordan's
Hey,
best
but
years was when he was with I think the Raiders. Was he with the Raiders or was it the Vikings? I think with
it
the
was the
Raiders.
Vikings.
Oh, the Vikings.
Vikings.
Those was his best years. It wasn't with Cleveland. You
Yeah,
think
my only reason I know that because
I
my
know you
dad's a
I
big
got to see.
Vikings fan.
I'm just
But
the history of
I,
the
I
sport.
well, we gonna get out of here. We'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Um, Me and Free got an interview to get to. So shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to my man Crush the Legend. Blessed morning show in the game. Coffee and donuts for grown-ups. And don't mess around. Crush might mess around, talk some music, man. If you heard him breaking down Jay-Z versus Hove, it was a terrific thing. I thought, there was no competition for Hove, but Crush really made some great points on why, LL, and I forgot about it because one of my favorite songs by LL is Lounging. I don't know if you ever heard that song, Lounging. I
hell
said that
yeah,
joke.
man.
That boy
Yeah,
cold. That boy L cold.
I mean,
all cold
you
dude.
can't like LL. He hasn't dropped a record in what about 10, 15 years since he dropped his last record.
No, he just dropped a new album. It's actually went gold recently. He
No,
dropped a banger.
I'm prior to that. I'm talking about prior to that.
Oh yeah, prior, yeah, prior. You're right. Yeah,
So
about
Yeah.
15, 20
that's what
years.
I was
Yeah,
about to say. He had the
Yeah,
album.
he did something with 50 though. I think that was like the last time
yeah, that was like that was about 12,
with
13
that
years
head
ago.
sprung and all that.
It was like 10,
Yeah.
15 years
Yeah.
ago. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
that was
saying.
like
Yeah.
10. Yeah,
12,
you
15
right. You
years ago.
right.
He off the album for like 10, 15 years, and this man still has it. He still has it. When
Yeah,
you
The
saw the
album
joint that
still,
he did with M, that man still got it. I'm like, yeah, this man.
the album
I ain't
still
gonna lie.
good,
I
man.
ain't gonna lie. I think M wrote some of them lines, but
I mean, whether M wrote lines or not, that man.
no. I'm not saying. I'm just saying that's kind of full circle. Can you imagine being a fan of L and then getting the right for him? That's got to be crazy. That's got to be crazy.
It happens. It happens. But the man, like I said, that is definitely the when it comes to uh, who can sustain thing for real. The longest and still be on topic. Like, he's not a bad lyricist or a bad entertainer at all. Like, if you look at his career, he was a hell of an entertainer, he was a hell of a lyricist, and he was a
Mhm.
hell of a showman. That man, and he was marketable. That man covered all of the criteria that you want in a hip hop artist. He covered all of the criteria, and now he done well in movies as well. So you got to give that man the title of being a goat. You got to give it to him.
You know what's so funny about L? People forget, and it's the thing that make LL so special. Not only was he one of the youngest to do it, he was one of the pioneers because he was actually teaching people about hip hop and scratching and all that good stuff. But I don't think people understand. He's our first superstar. Some would say Curtis Blow was our first hip hop star. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a guy named Curtis Blow, managed by a guy named Russell Simmons back in the day. Um, Curtis Blow was our first star, but our first superstar was definitely LL Cool J. The ladies love Cool James. But I mean, I can't say enough about L, and I really can't say enough about Eminem because this dude sold 900,000 copies and they doing streams. But on that note, let me get to this interview, man, before it get too late. It's your boy BBO Boxing. It's your boy the Puerto Rican Prince Free. It's your boy Richie Rich, aka Prize Fighter. And of course, we got my man, the Grumpy OG, Mr. Coffee and Donuts for grown-ups himself. My man, Crush the Legend. And we going, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Oh, shoot, before we go, Salam alaikum. Wa alaikum salam. Clarence, working together works. Set it up with Mauricio. Salam
Oh
alaikum.
man.
Wa alaikum salam. That's all I got to say to my man Clarence, man. Working together works. Set it up with Mauricio.